All right, hello everybody. Not sure I know everybody, but I'll get to know you.
That mic a little bit closer to you, will you?
Put this mic a little closer to me, these guys. All right. Well, it's finally a week to prepare to play hockey. The lead up to the start of the regular season, while in many ways is very short, seems very long since at least we started school. I know our team is anxious to get on the road and bond together a little bit and certainly play. Got a lot of newness on our team, as we've already talked about, and I'm kind of anxious to see what we see in a game environment that something's on the line for. I thought our preparation to date has been on schedule. Kind of settled on some lines that we'll look at for Friday night. Before somebody asks, we'll decide Thursday who's going to play in goal, so I don't have that decided today. But Ed Minnie has looked real good to date, and I think he's playing with confidence. He had a very productive off season, and I think he's in a good place mentally and physically. I think the freshman, Johnny Letherman, is gaining experience. I've been really impressed with both his poise and his work habits, and he'll certainly get some playing time early in the season as well. So we're anxious to see how that plays out. And, a lot of freshmen will have the opportunity to play. I think they've earned that. I like the approach that the new guys have taken in terms of their off-season commitment, their work habits, their focus during our preparation thus far. And we're looking for some veteran guys to step up and play bigger roles and make a bigger impact than maybe they have to date. And we've seen signs of that early. So all of those things have been positive, and yet we recognize we're going and starting anew here now that we're playing. Most teams, I don't know how many teams haven't played, but us and Lake Superior are the few teams who have not played a countable non-conference game yet. So we're excited to get up there. We know it's a big deal up there. I think they're celebrating their homecoming. It's the 50th anniversary of their hockey program. So they'll have a lot of hoopla around the series, which I think is a good environment for us to get exposed to and have to deal with.
Coach, you recently had your green and white game, 7 total goals scored. Off of that game and, of course, the entire preseason, what did you see that you liked and what did you see that you want to improve on?
Funny because I was at home later that night and I'm sitting on the couch and my wife could see that my mind was spinning. And she said, "So what'd you think of the green and white game? Were you happy with it?" I said, "Well, I was elated that we got 7 goals in the game, and I was sour that we gave up 7 goals in the game." So I don't know how to assess that, but I thought, I thought there was some good offensive movement and plays, which resulted in nice goals. I think every goal was a goal that was, well earned. I didn't think the goalies gave up soft goals. I'm sure Johnny Letherman would have liked that puck kind of snuck through him, and he'd have liked to have that back, but it was a breakaway goal. I like how hard the guys competed. If in the end, it was kind of hard to do a real evaluation of our systems because we had non-varsity players playing there, and in fairness to those guys, they had one skate with us, so it wasn't like they were in tune to what we were trying to do. So couldn't really do a systems assessment. I really liked how guys competed. There were some big hits in the game. There was some fierce competition. There was a little John out there, and guys were fighting for space, and so I liked all those things. I liked how the guys approached it, and I thought they approached it in a very business-like manner and used it as a means that it was intended, which was to prepare to play.
Tom, from what you've seen in the September practices through the week and a half of practice you've got this week, what's your assessment of the skill level, both on the back end and up front offensively?
Well, on the back end, we have the benefit of numbers this year that we did not have from the get-go last year. which is a positive. I think we're still kind of sorting through what kind of player everybody is early and who might complement who as a pairing. But as it relates to competing, chemistry, and depth in numbers, I think we've taken a really positive step. Last year, I just felt that we relied on guys to play too many minutes, and it wasn't fair to them. I think they gave us what they could give us, but it caused our shift times to get long. It caused us, especially early in the season, which then impacted our confidence. It caused us to lose some games late that we were fatigued. And now we've had one injury with Carson Gatt. He won't play this weekend. He's recovering from the injury he sustained in that exhibition game. But other than that, I think we have 8 guys competing for playing time, and I think that's really healthy. Up front, I think our skill set is improved. I like our skill set, and yet I say that cautiously because we haven't demonstrated that in a real game yet, and we lack experience. So. But it makes a big difference when you see guys start to elevate their game. If a Dylan Pavlik can elevate his game, and if a JT Stengline and a William Hague can elevate their game, which they've demonstrated so far in early season practices, that's going to be a real positive, and that'll have a trickle-down effect on guys around them too. So while I sit here and say I like it, there's a lot yet to be proven.
Kind of along those lines, while you have a lot of good young players that should contribute, coaches are always talking about their stars being stars and their seniors stepping up. You're going to need that to make some noise this year.
Absolutely.
And those guys are going to have to show that they're better players, aren't they?
Absolutely. We need seniors to have their best seasons. We need seniors to take on leadership roles. We need seniors to, whatever their role is, try to be All-Americans in their role and try to make guys around them better. So I'm hopeful that what I've seen of the senior group to date will continue, not just into the season, but through success and through adversity, because we'll have both. And if you look back into the off season, I think the seniors set a great tone coming in the best shape of their time. I think in the early season they've done an outstanding job of embracing all the new guys. Because naturally, when you have a dynamic like we have, you have 10 guys in the dorms, so they're going to spend all their time together. And then you have these upperclassmen, scattered around in different places where they live. And I'm just completing our player meetings, individual player meetings, and I've asked every freshman how their transition to college is going. And every guy has mentioned how terrific our senior group has been at reaching out and embracing the new guys and bringing them into the fold. So those are all really positive signs. But again, as I remind everybody, it's easy when there's no adversity. So if we can keep going in the direction we're going, and those guys can gain some confidence too, we need them to make a big impact on the team in all their various roles.
Speaking a little bit about your large freshman class starting the season on the road in the Upper Peninsula, what challenges does that bring about for such a young team like yours starting the season on the road?
Well, I think there's a lot of challenges with it. First of all, our opponent has a number of returning players, and I think all of their top scorers are returning. They're in familiar territory. They've got excellent goaltending that they can build around, and it's going to be a big weekend for them. They're celebrating the history of their program and their school's homecoming. So there will be a lot of hoopla around the series, and Michigan State has been traditionally a big rival game for Lake Superior State since many years ago. And so it's been our first trip up there since the CCHA has gone away and being reconfigured with new leagues. For us, I think we're going to go through the whole experience as a first time with so many new guys. The travel experience, the routine. I'm sure there will be plenty of first game jitters. There was in the exhibition game, And I'm sure that will continue now that we're playing non-conference meaningful games. So we'll have to fight through all those things and learn from it. And as I mentioned in the preseason presser, that I think it's going to require a lot of patience on our part to make sure, we're patient with guys and we support guys and we put them in situations the best we can to have success. So as we fight through these early games, we're gaining experience and hopefully can be gaining some confidence and playing in environments that are difficult.
You look at a guy like Jared Roseberg, came in last year, had a promising offseason, and then had the injury. For him to come back and bolster that defensive line unit, just what have you seen from him so far, and what does he add to that unit?
Well, really impressed with Jared so far. His very business-like approach. He, had a pretty serious injury that he recovered from, and we didn't know with 100% certainty that he would. And so part of me, I have to catch myself because what a difference he would have made on our team last year. Not having him really impacted our team last year. So this year, he hasn't played. The exhibition game that he played was his first game in, I think, 22 months or something. And I thought he played real well. And so now it's going to have to elevate yet again. The timing, the speed, the intensity, the strength. But he's been preparing hard. I think he's got a good mental outlook on things. We want to make sure that he gets good quality minutes. And, again, we don't overdo it as he eases back into it. But, he has the opportunity to play in every situation. He'll be effective 5-on-5. He can shoot the puck. I think he's got good field of vision and can distribute the puck. And we expect with his toughness and competitiveness and reach that he'll be a good penalty killer too. So he has an opportunity as he gains experience to play a lot of minutes.
Sorry to go back to another youth question already, but I'm wondering, other coaches have said this before for various sports. I'm wondering if you share the sentiment that having so many young guys can be positive in the fact that maybe there's a naive and they can kind of go out there and I'm sure they're all coming off of very successful high school careers or red shirts or whatever. But is there an upshot of guys that haven't had much collegiate ice time?
We have a lot of guys that haven't had much college ice time. The amount that they've had is since they've been here, so that's very little to date. So you never know what to expect when the real games start, but you go back to your preparation, and like I said, I think there will be plenty of nervousness. And yet, I'm going to try to remind guys, it was a very productive off season. I think our preparation from the start of the year to date, even though it's pretty limited, has progressed as we hoped. And now the next step is to go play and get better each day when you play. And so, that's where you look to your upperclassmen to create an environment that has some poise to it and the experience that they have. And I'm trying to encourage our freshmen to not look at simply trying to establish themselves at this level, but to make an impact on helping the team establish a high standard of success. And so, there's a lot of opportunity that's being provided to them. They're earning that, and yet I think they don't have to feel like they have to come in here and carry the ball, because I think guys around them are stepping up as well.
Tom, I know it's still really early, but do you enjoy the challenge of coaching a predominantly young team? I
do. Yeah, I do. It's kind of fun to start with a group, and while I say that, it's kept me up nights all summer long because I am excited about the skill set. I think this team will demonstrate this season, or has the potential to demonstrate, it's the most skilled team since I've been here, and I'm looking forward to working with that. And at the same time, what keeps me up is knowing, I really value experience, and we don't have a lot. So we're going to be relying on the guys who do have the bulk of the experience to help those guys who don't. But it is a fun, challenging coaching opportunity for us to see what kind of impact we can make, particularly early, in helping guys make the adjustment to this level of hockey and then obviously be productive players.
I was just going to go there. I ask you to stick your neck out. It's hard to do it on October 11th, but let me put it this way. Will you be disappointed if this isn't your best team?
Wow, that's hard to say so early yet, Fred. There's so many unanswered questions. I'd be disappointed if our team didn't fulfill what I think is a good, strong potential, and I can't even measure that quite yet.
It has a chance to be your best team.
I think there are elements for sure, but there's a lot of question marks right now. Who's going to emerge in goal, or how are we going to emerge in goal? It might be two guys, and how good are we going to be? We've had pretty good goalies here. Back on defense, our numbers, can we stay healthy and solidify back to where we were a really tough defensive team to play against. And we've struggled offensively since I've been here, and I think we have some skill sets and some depth potential hasn't been proven quite yet at this level. That gives us an opportunity to score way more than we have. And we've got to get better, not just offensively, we got to get better on the power play. And early in the season, I think the power play is going to be critical to winning and losing because, there's a new standard of enforcement that's being focused on in the NCAA. And with that, if you looked at the first weekend, there's been lots of penalties. So special teams becomes an important part of the game until the players start to adjust to the enforcement standard. So I think we have the potential to be a surprising team to many and an exciting team for us.
I'm not familiar with that. What are they doing? More whistles?
Trying to call the penalty enforcement is tighter. It's a tighter standard, which oftentimes results in more early season penalties until players adjust to it. Where maybe something that wasn't a slash might now be a slash, and or a hook or hold. Or I think it's a positive thing. I really do, because everybody will adjust to it. But there's a period of growing pains that you go through.
They called that Sunday that way, didn't they?
Well, I don't know that they did, because those aren't Big Ten officials, so I don't know if they received that directive. But I'm sure we will see that. We'll have WCHA officials this weekend and wherever we go.
Coach, there's been so much talk about the youth on the team, but there are guys like Mason Appleton and Zach Osborne. How big of an impact are they going to have on this team? Kind of still being the young guys, but kind of bringing back the experience on the team as well.
They should have a significant opportunity to make an impact. And here you're going to our veterans, and they're sophomores. So they're not loaded with experience either. But we would hope that they take a nice progressive step up, and they'll have the opportunity to do so. So those two guys you mentioned, there's others had very productive off seasons. I'll mention, Cody Milan and Brennan Sanford. We're counting on those guys as well to take a positive step and make a greater impact this season now that they know what to expect.
As far as the position battle at goalie, do you anticipate that to go on throughout the season, or would you like to declare a starter at that position at some point, or what's the plan there?
I'm pretty open-minded about it, actually. If one guy really emerges as the guy, I'm not hesitant to do that. If we found a rotation where two guys can play and be very effective and give us a chance to win every night, I'm good with that. And my first year, we kind of went with the hot guy who seemed to be playing the most and create a little competition not to give up the net. I'm good with that too. As long as it gets good results and we get good performance, we'll kind of settle. We're going in with our eyes wide open right now. I do think Ed's come in here with obviously more experience at this level, a productive preparation in his off season, and I think his mindset is a good place. So I think we're in a good spot there.
Will Ed get the nod this weekend, or do you know who will start there?
Yeah, I haven't decided who's going to start Friday night, but he will definitely play, and we may very likely play both guys. Get both guys in the net and kind of use it as a measuring stick to see where we're at.
I'm just wondering, well, first, you believe it's going on to season 6 already for you here, and then also, given the results from last year, probably not where you want the record to be, but where the program is at now, is this where is it about where you had envisioned it 5 years down the road?
Well, I thought last year we really struggled. I would have expected, in going into last season, I would have expected a better season for us and a bigger step. And for a variety of reasons and the dynamics that played out, that didn't happen. So I look at last year as what can we take out of the adversity that we dealt with, the frustration, the disappointment, the challenges. So, it starts with me looking at, okay, how can we take what we learned from last year and get better? I'm sure the players feel the same thing. And so what I really liked is that I thought the players fought through a very difficult, very frustrating and disappointing season from beginning to end, right to the end, to the last play, the last game we played. And I think that says a lot about the character that we have in our dressing room. So now we have to build on that. We've got to get back and take a step forward. I do think the class of players that we brought in has continued to upgrade the level of skill that we have here, and that was a high priority for us. We've had to be patient for that to occur over the course of time, and that time is running its course. But, we're all focused on doing what we have to do to become better and to win, because winning builds confidence, it builds morale, it builds enthusiasm. Winning solves a lot of issues, and so we're focused on doing that. Oh yeah, I forgot. We named two guys as alternate captains. Thomas Ebbing and Rhett Holland will step into those roles this weekend. I let them know yesterday, and so that will round out our captains group. I'd say our leadership group goes deeper than that. I think there's a number of guys who really kind of emerge as leaders on the team, but those guys will be wearing letters. And for those of you who don't know, in our sport, it's required at least to have one player wear a letter so they can be accessible to the officials. That's a means, a conduit for the official to speak to you, especially if he doesn't want to come over and talk to a hot-headed coach. That's a way to do it. So these guys have earned the respect of their teammates and demonstrated a certain level of influence and standard that their teammates embrace, and we feel it's the right move to round out our captains.
Did you purposely wait to see who earned the A's?
I did, and for a couple of reasons. We went through a process. You may remember we named Joe Cox the captain at our banquet last year, and we thought that was, I don't want to say easy, but that was clear cut. And we knew with all the turnover that we were having and so many new guys that it would only make sense to give the new guys an opportunity to have input. Like, I don't have a vote. We gather information, we watch, we do go through a leadership process that we gather information from all the players. And so we waited so the players could see the off season, they could see the preseason, they could see the off-ice stuff we did, the weight room stuff, how guys approached the classroom, and then certainly the games, both the exhibition game and even the green and white game were considerations, and then we gathered feedback and decided the other day.
Coaches do that.
Yeah, along with the input from the players, and I spent time talking to Joe as well as the captain, make sure he has the resources he needs to do an effective job as captain.
Well, other than injury, the A's are season-long, right? They don't interchange, do they?
No, I would hope not. That would not be our intention. I guess I haven't changed one since I've been here, and no, and I'd prefer not to, but I guess if a guy really did a poor job, you'd consider it, but I don't expect that. Good? All right. Thank you, guys.